first cut with the skill saw was just to take that 16-foot board and make it into a manageable piece so I could cut a nice square corners, 45.5 inches long. So that was the first cut with the skill saw, and then I used this miter saw to get my nice corners. One thing about using salvaged materials, you do need to spend some time knocking out old nails, whatever else might be in the way. Sometimes they're a little bit splintered, so you need to make shorter cuts out of a longer piece. But when you get them free, I guess, especially nowadays when the prices are so bizarre, free is good. In a short while I'll get my sawmill going, and then I can cut all the wood I want for the cost of the gas and my time. Perhaps I should explain there that last statement, because I've been telling you that all this wood here and that I've unloaded is off the sawmill. That's off a friend of mine's sawmill. He's already got his set up after the winter. He was able to store it indoors in a friend's horse arena. So it was all still nicely put together, and all he had to do was wheel it out and start using it. And his is on a trailer, and I didn't buy the trailer attachment for mine. So anytime I want to move it or do anything like that, for any reason, I have to actually take it apart, move it, and reassemble it, which is what I'm going to do here. It's going to go over where the log pile is, but that hasn't happened yet. Now here's an example of how I get things like hinges and whatever. This piece of wood has a screw eye in it. I don't need a screw eye, but at the same time, there's certainly nothing wrong with it. So I'm probably going to chuck the piece of wood here because it's just got nails and it's split and it's too short. But I will take, later, I'll take the screw eye out of it and save it, because one day I will want one. Now they're cheap, you know, you can go out and buy 10 of them, it's no big deal, or 50 of them, it doesn't really matter. But it's here, and there's nothing wrong with it, why throw it away? Oh, fuck. Here. Whoops. Lost my grip there. Okay. Door is, just measured it. For some reason it's 31.5. That's a little fresh 32. I want to give it a little clearance. That's a little over 32. So let's come back just a tad. One right end right. Yeah, we keep. There's a slight twist to this 2x4. Another one of the joys of used material. So let's get the top set. It's good. Right there. We'll get the top set, and then we'll do the bottom afterwards. And if necessary, I'll give it a twist and put a brace in here for now. Anytime you're building anything, it's all about measuring, really. Making things fit, finding, I was mentioning earlier, getting the most out of whatever you've got. Now I've got 80, that's not quite nice down there, it needs planing up, by 80 inches, and I need 66. Now if I cut it at 66 right here, I'm not going to have that solid bottom piece. It's going to end in the middle of this panel, which is no good. Likewise, the same at the top. And there's not enough play to split the difference. But, I don't know if you can see this, let me just turn you a little bit here. Over there. If I come down to this next panel, right there, which gives me a solid top, and come down to the bottom, I'm 65 7/8, and my opening is 66. So that's perfect, because I need just a little bit of clearance to be able to get it in. So what I'm going to do is take it off as close as I can, just to the top of that piece there. Right here, on top, the piece I'm talking about there is this solid piece right here, because I need a solid top where it's joined into the sides, and I need the same thing on the bottom, which is the bigger piece right here. I don't know if you can see it. I'll see if I can zoom in a bit here. I'm in my shadow. I'm in the shadows here. Oh, there we go. Let's zoom in on a bit. You can see right there, that it's swelled and shrunk and moved a little bit. So I'm going to have to leave just, I'm going to measure to the side here, and then I'm going to take a very, very fine cut and just shave that off. Another thing to notice here, aside from the terrible finish, is that these center panels are split and rolled a little bit. This one is badly split, and somebody's passed it with a piece of cheap plywood. And some of the other ones, this one's got quite a roll in it. So aside from sanding this all down and giving it a good paint job, I'm going to have to, I think that's solid enough, it's just buckled. But if this is really bad, I might take this, well, I will take this piece out and probably put a small window in there, or perhaps a little bit more ventilation. We'll see. I've got quite a bit of glass, so I can always cut a piece for that. Alright, so I cut the top piece off, as I said, right along the edge of that trim. I took that old piece of plywood off, and as you can see, the door is busted. Piece is missing, and there's obviously a piece of plywood on the inside as well. So I'm probably going to cut that all out and put a piece of glass in there, give them a little bit of extra light. And since I already had the thing going, I just decided to cut the bottom off. You can remember it had a pretty good step right here, so I've managed to get that taken off and smoothed it out all the way across. It's a rough old door, but you know something, these old solid doors, that's a lot of good solid wood in there, and it's certainly plenty good enough for what I'm doing. Once I get it all sanded down, put the glass in the top, and get some kind of paint on it, and I'll take that doorknob off of it and put some kind of a nice handle on it, and it's going to be a pretty decent door. Good enough for what we're doing, that's for sure. Oh, that feels good, doesn't it? Get all that old hair out of there. That's my boy. You're all wet from swimming in the lake. It makes it hard. I know you like it, but it makes it awful hard to find you when I can get you a good brushing. Okay, stay. Stay. Oh my gosh. A heck of a coat there, winter boy. Good winter coat. That's got to be itchy. It's good to get it off, isn't it? Okay. Oh, yes. Good boy. Come here, come on over here. Stay. We don't have as heavy an undercoat. Lots of hair, but not that heavy undercoat. Stay. Here, step forward. Oh gosh, yeah, I know, it feels good, doesn't it? Nothing like a good back, oh yeah, good back scratch. Look at that stuff. Oh yeah, that's a good spot, isn't it? That's a good spot, oh yeah. Oh, a little more there, a little to the left. I'm not very good at this part. Not really very good at any of this stuff. I just kind of get her done. And I'm definitely a function over form kind of person. I certainly like things to look good. I don't like them to look like I just did a crappy job because I was in a hurry. But beyond anything, they have to work, because that's the primary purpose of actually doing any of this, was to get something that would give comfortable and safe housing to the chickens. And if it can't do that, doesn't matter how pretty it is, it's not going to do the job. Anyways, let me step back here a bit, get out of the light. I did hang the door. I got some sanding on it just to break up some of that heavy scale. Let me back up here a bit. So, there we go. That's pretty much in usable condition now. I took the old latch that was originally on the door, that was on the other side where the doorknob used to be. I rehinged it the opposite way and put it back on. That won't be the only latch I use, but it'll do for now. It's beautiful today. Must be 55, 60 degrees. But every day for the last week we've had rain, sleet, snow, and or hail. So it just hasn't been pretty. Well, there we go. That's most of it. I got most of the trim in. There's another piece to go across the top there. And I still have to trim back the roof, deciding on how much overhang I want. I've got the wire mesh there for ventilation. That gap in the top there will have more of the hardware cloth for further ventilation, the way it can siphon through and vent out the top. The top will probably be open always. In the winter time, or anytime it's storming, there will be a door that will fit over the bottom there that can be closed off so that it's not too windy. I'm just fitting the rocks in the bottom just to give me an idea how they're going to fit. But that's basically it. Across the front will be completely covered with that. And the end and the back I'll leave open, because there's enough room that the chickens will probably go underneath there if sometimes they like to just have a little place to hide out. So, and everything, nothing's wasted. Like I said earlier, every single part of this coop so far is salvaged material basically, or left over from previous jobs. Absolutely nothing to this point has been purchased. Even these little bits and pieces like this that are cut-offs from trimming all this stuff, will make excellent kindling.